destruction. Guess who's here? The bad boys of wrestling. Just in competition, win the war, that's their mission. Not no mercy, see the rings like the street. If you don't know, you better find out the wolf pack. Here to prove a point, number one, just believe that you don't want to tussle with them or be avoid of them. Come in the ring with them, you're never walking out again. Don't turn your back on the wolf pack. Don't turn your back on the...
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the wrestling world. It is Thursday. It's a little past 9:05, 8:05 Central Time, but it's okay. We had to take care of a few things, pay some bills. But welcome to the filler segment. This is our 10th episode, man. We made it to 10. This is a milestone.
Yeah, it is. Double digits is always pretty big.
It is pretty big, and as usual, since we've hit the double digits and we got a couple people on waiting for the rest of the contingency to join us. Don't forget, we're on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your girlfriend. Tell your girlfriend's friends. Tell them all. All we care about is the fans and the fans alone. So, this week's subject. I did a lot of thinking on this one, only because I kept, in the midst of trying to figure out what to talk about, I kept seeing commercials for the upcoming NFL draft, which brought me to our subject of the evening, which is wrestlers who played football. I mean, it only makes sense, and I gotta rep our team. Wish it was metal so we can shine it. But I've got a list of names that we can bring up that there are going to be some good ones that I had to reach back for. When I saw this, I got caught in a wormhole. So, and I mean, I know you have a couple names, kicking around that you can bring up at any point. It's not necessarily pro football, but college as well. It's collegiate, Canadian, USFL, professional. In other words, if it was televised, if it was televised, you made the list.
USFL, huh?
Yes, the USFL. Shout out to Warren Moon.
USFL, okay, cool. Yep.
So, before we dive into that, I had promised on one of our comments about the event that happened today, and I'm only going to touch on this, and then we're gonna dive right into it. The whole Mickie James incident. Now, that upset me.
There's been some updates in that story too.
Right, and that's what we're touching up on right now because that really upset me. You don't treat talent like that. I mean, even if it was Terry Jean and they wanted to get rid of him, I'd probably be like, maybe not the trash bag, even though he is garbage. But
no, I would have tied his bag up at least.
Yeah, okay,
that's it.
Yeah, all right. I'll give you that. That was good. But Mickie James, the way they did her was wrong.
Mickie James, right? That's Mickie James.
Exactly.
Going to be in the Hall of Fame in like another 4 or 5 years.
If not, this incident might have sped that up. Is that fair to say?
Say it again.
I said you said 4 or 5 years in the Hall of Fame. I think this incident might have sped it up. Kind of like an I'm sorry.
Right.
Who knows?
You're right.
But both H and Stephanie have come out and addressed this. And, and I agree. They need to do better. They got all that money and they just a trash bag. I mean, bad form, WWE, bad form. But I digress. We're going to dive into this. Wrestlers who played football. So we have a couple of honorable mentions in this that we're really not going to get into too much detail with, but I have a couple of honorable mentions myself that I'm just going to go right off the rip, and we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Baron Corbin. King Corbin, who was an Arizona Cardinal.
He was an honorable mention that I wasn't. He was an honorable mention that just kind of got away from me. I really thought he was going to be on your actual list, so I didn't go with Baron Corbin.
Oh no! I had to kick him off the list because I have a couple of real old school names that I've got, and I've got.
Yeah, I was.
Go ahead.
I was thinking criteria wise, I was thinking maybe he might not have made the final cut.
No, he didn't make the final cut, but I mean it was Trust me, I had to sit there and just weigh these out. You know, I mean, the criteria was basically, you know, like your performance on the field as opposed to the performance in the ring, because we could do like the in ring all day, you know, and just, you know, we all know who'd come out on top there. But Baron Corbin was my honorable mention on this.
Okay.
But go ahead. You have an honorable mention?
I had one. I had a few, but this one though is like one that a lot of people, unless you're like really a serious football fan, you know this dude from playing football, but Tino Sabatelli.
Mm.
Tino Sabatelli was a second round pick.
He
2007.
Was. I remember.
Yep. Played for a few teams, bounced around, played safety. But yeah, Tino Sabatelli, man, he was just based off of him being a second round pick, he edged out Lance Archer and Eric Watts for me on the honorable mention list because he was such a high draft pick. So I'm gonna go with Tino Sabatelli as my honorable mention.
That's a good one, man. I mean, it's better than Corbin. I'll put him above Corbin. So you know, and we all know how I feel about Baron Corbin. But
I had to do some thinking for that.
Yeah, you really did. That's what I'm saying. This one we really had to sit down and think. But I will say this to those of you watching in the video scope here, the Chicago Bears contingency, you better pay attention to this list. That's all I'm going to say, because some of you guys are going to be upset. Some of you guys won't be. I won't be. But we're going to dive right into this right now with my first name in the list. And this one's going to shock you. I'm building up the suspense for Ahmed Johnson. Could you believe that? Ahmed Johnson. He had a stint playing for the Volunteers.
For the Cowboys.
And he was a linebacker for the Cowboys. But, you know, it really, like, as quickly as it happened, he was out. You know, as fast as he got in, he checked out and started his wrestling career. But, you know, also with that, you know, if we're going to talk about things that put him in on this list is, you know, his in-ring stuff had to put him in on the list just because he was a name, and he was the first ever Black Intercontinental Champion in the WWE, which speaks for itself. You can't really diss the guy for that. But, you know, unfortunately, you know, just as his football career went, his WWE and wrestling career altogether just never came to fruition. He couldn't do it. He was hurt. He couldn't carry a feud. I mean, I just wish he did have a longer career in wrestling than he did in football. And I will say that.
And that's probably not by much either.
No, I probably see it. Yep. I wouldn't say so. Yep. There it is. I knew we were going to get some controversy, and this is what we're here for.
And let us clarify, Ahmed Johnson, not his shorts.
No, not his shorts. His shorts are definitely not in this conversation. So, you know, Ahmed Johnson, I mean, you made the list, which is going to segue me into this one. And here's a name that we haven't heard in a while. You ready for this? Monty Brown. Ooh. If you guys don't know who Monty Brown is, I will give you his in-ring name, which would be the Alpha Male, Marcus Corvon. For you,
he was the Alpha Male Monty Brown in TNA. Also, didn't he play for the Jaguars?
Oh no, he did not play for the Jags. He played. Well, you know, let's go back for history because I have to look at my notes here because he was a linebacker, a pretty damn good linebacker at a little known college in Michigan called Ferris State, as in Ferris Bueller. Ferris State. Well, see, you know about that.
I know about Ferris State. I had a couple teammates my freshman year of college that played at Ferris State.
Nice. See? Yeah. Yep. But, you know, he ended up playing for the Buffalo Bills and played in the Super Bowl for the Bills in 1994. And then 2 years later, he signed as a restricted free agent with the Patriots. Damn. But unfortunately, ankle injuries took him out of the game, and he just started pro wrestling. And we all know what happened from there. I mean, he was in TNA or Impact or whatever.
Yeah, that's where I first saw him.
Yeah, and me too. And he had a few chances at the championship in TNA, but he could never win the big one. And then he went to the WWE in 2006.
And ECW.
Yes, died ECW. ECW as Marcus Corvon.
Yes. That was a good
Yes.
one.
That wasn't. You like that one?
Yeah,
I
do. I like. I mean, I liked him. No, I liked him. I hate that he didn't work out.
Oh, me too. I wanted him
with
to
the
work
E.
out because I remember his stint in TNA. He was not bad.
Nah, very charismatic. Very charismatic. Super athletic. Was really good in the ring. Was decent on the mic. Had a good run. That was early, like 05-ish when I first saw him in TNA.
Yeah, because it had to have been like before 06 because that's when he signed. He signed with New York.
went to New York.
With New York. Dude, get the fuck away from here. Sorry about that. I had my cat over here getting into everything. But it's all right. Monty Brown, though, I mean, I remember seeing him play a couple of times, just hearing his name. And then as soon as they said, I think it was Iron Mike Tenay who brought it up. Iron Mike Tenay who brought it up that he played for the Bills and the Patriots.
Dude, there's a wealth of useless information.
He really is a wealth of useless information. And he was
love
the reason.
Mike Tenay.
Oh, yeah, man. He had the hotline and everything.
Yeah, he was the reason why I watched Nitro because he was telling me stuff I didn't know I've never heard before. So
yeah, he was a good color guy.
Oh yeah, super educational. I love Mike Tenay.
But yep, he made the list, which will segue me into this one. Just a little tidbit of information. Most of these guys, a good part of these guys played for the same college. And guess which college that would be?
Would that be West Texas State?
No.
No, not West Texas State.
No, I'll do it back here.
Oh, yeah, the U, of course.
The U.
But there was a lot of guys that played at West Texas State too, though. Old school guys, though.
But we have most of this list, even though I looked it over and it's like, I couldn't deny it. It was like, the U was pretty dominant in this list that I made, which brings me to my next person. And this one's gonna be a shock as well. I mean, Marcus Corvon. Sorry, Monty Brown, same guy. He was a surprise, but not as big as this one. And we're gonna go with the loose cannon himself, Brian Pillman.
Yeah,
played college as a linebacker at Miami of Ohio.
Yes.
He would shatter records in tackles for loss in that category. As far as I know, he still has that record. I try to look that up, but I kept falling down wormholes with everybody else. So, but he played for the Bengals.
Yep.
And then he'd eventually go play in Canada with the Stampeders. But that was one when I was making this list and going over everything. I was like, Pillman played football?
Yeah. I do remember. Yeah, I do remember when I first started watching Brian Pillman. It was like on a worldwide, like Saturday morning or something like that. And Jim Ross was saying how he played for the Bengals. I always thought he was a receiver, but then I thought he was a little too small. Yeah, and back then in that era, he was a little too small to be a receiver. There was no Wayne Corbett's or no Edelmans or no Wes Welker types back then. So, but yeah, Jim Ross kept saying, would always mention early how he had a football background with the Bengals, and then later I found out after he passed away that he played up in Calgary, which made sense as to why he had the connection with the Hearts. When he was a member of that New Heart Foundation toward the end of his career. I mean, it all fell into place for him right there with the Hearts and everything with the Stampeders. So I mean, and I mean if anybody who's going to tell you that they played football or any other sport for that matter. Yeah. It's gonna be Jim Ross. Yep. So you got to take him at his word because or Mike Tenay
or Iron Mike Tenay, because trust me, when I was looking up this list, I even saw some guys who played in the NBA, but that's another show for another day.
You can teach me something.
Oh, I know, right? We'll definitely touch on that. But you know what time it is? It is time for your old school lit of the week. So what do we got?
We'll go with the Pirates today because they gotta win. I was looking at my scores, and there's a lot of games still in progress. I don't have a Diamondbacks hat. They threw up a 14 spot on the scoreboard today.
I saw that.
I was gonna go heel on you and go Red Sox so I can jinx them because they're playing my Mariners right now. But
oh no, you can try. You can't jinx them already any more than they've already been jinxed. They were jinxed for 86 years. So
that's true. And then the Yankees retired, so I couldn't show them no love today. So I'm gonna go with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and I got a player for you, but I'm gonna see who you come with.
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna go old school player of the week, and I've already used Barry Bonds for the Giants, so he's definitely not going to be in the Pirates conversation. So I am going really old school, and I am going with the guy who wears my number. I wear his number, and that would be the late great Roberto Clemente.
Great choice, excellent choice. My pick was actually a teammate of Roberto Clemente,
okay,
whose son is a good friend of mine, and that gentleman's name is Bill Matlock.
The Bill Matlock special. I can go. Yes. I can live with that. Yeah, the Pirates, the family is what they were called.
I got to get one of those too with the yellow and
yellow and black P.
Yeah, I got to find one of those.
I'm gonna have to hit up my uncle because he's a huge Pirates fan. He likes Pittsburgh sports, and the Pirates are his team. He's always been upfront about that, and he's living out in Arizona, retired. So it's like.
Got a whole franchise right there in Arizona. He's like, I like these guys over here.
Oh no, I mean he retired a couple years ago as a lawyer, and he's him and my aunt got me and Shiloh the room in Vegas when we went. But he's a big Pittsburgh sports fan, and so he's the only real one that I know of. So, and this is even with those crappy guys that wear the black and yellow. But we're not going to talk about that because. So we're gonna move on this list, and this name came in pretty low on the list. You would think you'd be a little bit higher, but we're just gonna go ahead and get him out of the way right now. And it's the one guy who goes by one name in the ring. It would be Bill Goldberg.
Why is he even on this list? Why is he even on this list? He had a much better wrestling career than he did football career.
He really did, but you know what? Bill Goldberg, he did. Listen, I put him way above Corbin, and that's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, it's not hard to put anybody above Corbin.
Yes, you're right.
Goldberg though, like Goldberg.
Yes, Bill Goldberg is on this list, and I mean, he was an outstanding defensive tackle at the University of Georgia. And you remember when the draft, like the NFL draft, just seemed like it took forever?
Yeah, because it did. It was all weekend.
Well, he was an 11th round pick playing for the LA Rams in 1990 and played there for 2 years. And then he went to Atlanta from 92 to 94 and then got cut. He got cut.
I want y'all to see the unimpressedness.
Well, the unimpressedness is still coming, bro, because he was cut after 2 years in Atlanta. So what did he do? He packed his bags and was drafted by the Carolina Panthers in the expansion draft. But he never played for them because he was injured. And then after getting himself healthy, he just never returned to the NFL again. And we all know the rest of the story.
Yeah, it kind of worked out pretty well for him. He did okay for him. He did okay for himself post football.
Post football, he really did. I mean, we're just not talking wrestling either. I mean, he did good. He did good, in movies, television. I mean,
time out. What movie did Goldberg do good in?
The only one that I will say would be The Longest Yard.
The Great Khali did good in The Longest Yard, Dan. Come on, man. That's really
he really did though. But I'm going to say Goldberg in The Longest Yard was his best role. He played in what was it? Was it The Universal Soldier with Jean-Claude? It was one of them. Man. It was like the third installment of that because I remember the second one was him and Dolph Lundgren.
That was the first one.
Yeah, it was the first one. You're right. You're right. But I remember because I remember seeing on WCW that they were pitching another Universal Soldier with Goldberg in it. But
probably just as good as the Marine 2 through 11.
Right. But if we're gonna give him a good like any movie credit, it has to be The Longest Yard.
Fine. By default, he did good in The Longest Yard. But like I said, the Great Khali did good in The Longest Yard. So that's
and he only spoke like 2 sentences.
Exactly.
And it had subtitles. So I mean, but Goldberg he parlayed his success, and I mean he's done it on TV shows too. I mean I've seen him on these like Discovery Channel Build-A-Bikes and a couple of Forged in Fires. So I mean he can't say that he didn't do good for himself. He capitalized, but
that's neither wrestling or football though.
Right. But we all know that his biggest success came in the squared circle.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no denying that, but we had to put him on the list. I mean, but it's not going to be as surprising as who's coming in next. And we all know who we're going to shout out when I say this name.
I'm just afraid now. I'm afraid.
You know what? You could be afraid because I'm just going to read off. I'm just going to read off on my notes what I got, and then I'm going to give you a guess.
Before you say who it is, I'll probably get it. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Let's see. He began his collegiate career at Penn State before he transferred to the U. After college, he would play in the Canadian Football League before being signed by the Green Bay Packers. He never played it down in the NFL, but he was on their injured reserve list and attended training camp in 1983. But then he would move to the USFL, playing for 3 different teams in the now defunct league. Who is this guy?
Can I get some wrestling accomplishments too?
I'll give you some wrestling. Whoa! Okay.
If that's what
all right. He started in an NWA territory in Florida before joining WCW in 1987. I don't want to give you his nickname because that would give it away.
1986. Go ahead. I know who. Oh, I don't even want to say his damn name. Go ahead. Multiple-time United States champion.
What did you say? What?
Multiple-time United States champion.
Do you know how many times?
I don't care. I just want to know why Lex Luger is on this list after Goldberg, and why they weren't named. Why weren't they named the first 2 people on this list?
If you're gonna say Lex Luger, let's at least address him by his government name, Lawrence.
No, let's not. Let's not. Because no, you know what? Yes, because Lex Luger is allegedly from Chicago, and hell no, we're not. Nah. So yeah,
we all know he's not from Chicago.
Why is Lex Luger on this list?
He's made the list.
No,
I think that one was more of a wrestling accomplishment and just to make you feel a little funny, because I knew it.
Him and Goldberg should have went before Ahmed Johnson and Monty Brown.
Okay,
just based off of the fact that nobody likes either one of the Lex or Luke. I'm glad I'm drinking tonight.
All right, well then this one will ease your mind.
We should have talked about this before the show.
We really should have, but you know what?
Luger would not have been on this list if you'd have consulted with me first.
You're right, but this one will put your mind at ease because I'm pretty sure that you'll be okay with this one.
Let's hope so.
Does the name Ed McDaniel mean anything to you?
Yes, Ed McDaniel does mean something to me.
Wahoo!
Yes, it does. Yes, multiple-time Mid-Atlantic heavyweight champion. Oh yeah, that's a little better.
Okay, all right.
That's a little better. Vader at this point would have made me feel so much better if you would have threw him down there. It's just, I really. But yeah. So, who did he played in the NFL for a little bit, didn't he?
Wahoo! I'm gonna give you
or the AFL.
Well, AFL still the NFL. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but he's probably.
But yeah, he was primarily AFL, which eventually merged with the NFL. So he was a top linebacker after playing for the Oilers in 1960.
Okay.
And then from 61 to 63 with the Ponies.
Colts or the Broncos?
The Broncos, the Ponies. I'll never diss the Colts like that.
I would. Fucking Peyton.
You would, but nah, dude. I'm not a big Broncos fan either. And Peyton played for them both. So, and then he was traded to the Jets and became a huge part of that defense.
Yeah.
He was also a top name selected by the Dolphins in '66 during their expansion draft. So Miami wanted him, and in '68, here's a good tidbit. In '68, he got into a fight with two cops, leading to a trade to the Chargers in the middle of the season.
Even in 1968, you didn't want to get traded to the damn Chargers.
No, but you know what? You know what? It's funny you said that because you know what? When he got traded to the Chargers, he never played it down for the Chargers and just said, "Screw it, I'm gonna go wrestle."
I'm gonna go wrestle. Chief Wahoo Ed Wahoo McDaniel. That was a good one. Thank you. That one
You're
kind of brought me
welcome.
back.
You know what? I had to give you a good one in there. I mean, because you know what, and this is only because I want your commentary on this. The next name on this list, only because this is going to make everybody cringe on the other side of the screen, and you know who I'm talking about. Steve Mongo McMichael.
Mr. Botch himself.
This man could
Wow.
he couldn't unlock a combination lock. Much less an arm bar, a leg lock, anything.
Horrible. Man, he was
in the ring. He was horrible. He was the worst horseman ever,
and had the nerve to be United States champion too. Like, what were y'all doing?
Then they gave him that little dog,
Fifi. Yeah, he had Fifi as a commentator. So okay, so I told you I got a Mongo story. So Mongo has a bar and grill type spot, like right outside, not even right outside, it's like 45 minutes outside Chicago, in like Romeoville, Illinois. So I go in one night. We had a tournament out in the area, so we went in one night. He's there, chilling, having a beer at the bar, whatever. People walking up, talking to him. Everybody's asking him football questions. I'm not about to ask Mongo no football question. I'm not. The wrestling fan in me will not let me say anything to Steve McMichael about no damn football. So the guys that I'm with, man, ask him to see the Super Bowl. I'm not asking him to see no damn Super Bowl ring. I know what I want to ask Mongo about. Mongo, what was it like being on the road with Ric Flair?
That's a question you should ask anybody who was in that company. So
I want stories. I want stories. He didn't really get in depth because, I guess he really wasn't there for that long. But just the reaction that I got from people, even the guys I was with, what you mean? What do you mean? What do I mean? Just listen. If he has time,
what I just said.
Exactly what I just. What was it like being on the road with Ric Flair? So I got a quick story. It wasn't nothing, really to write home about. Probably something we've all heard before, something he's done a billion times, just some, typical Ric Flair shit. But yeah, that was it was pretty cool that I got a chance to meet him because I knew, growing up in the Chicago area, I knew he was a Bear. Was kind of pissed off when he went to Green Bay and played for them. But he football wise, he deserves to be on this list. As far as what he did in the ring, absolutely the fuck not.
Absolutely not. Because we can go on and on about what he did on the field. I mean, in my opinion, he was part of the greatest defense of all time. Period. The end. Stop, page, end print.
Yep. And I grew up in the Chicago area, and I am not a Bears fan. But you can't deny that, man. He was a very important part of what they did for that stretch, plus the Super Bowl run.
Yeah, exactly. And he wasn't the only one on that defense who hit the wrestling ring.
No,
he's not on the list. Just so you know, he's not on the list. But
he's a Hall of Famer though.
Yes, he is.
He's a Hall of Famer
from Aiken, South Carolina. The Fridge.
Shout out to Fridge, William Perry.
Shout out to Fridge, William Perry. But again, you I know people around here, are still kind of sore about that 85 Super Bowl, but I'm okay with it.
At 42-20.
Yeah, that was a big put out. I mean, the only issue I have with that Super Bowl is that they didn't let Walter Payton score.
Yeah,
I think everybody has an issue with that.
Yeah, Fridge scored that game and Payton didn't. I was kind of upset about that too. Even I was like 2.5, 3 years old when they won, but you're just knowing that was the case, just growing up and even watching the game back because it's still somewhere in my mom's house on VHS, and just knowing that Payton wasn't rewarded with that moment. It's kind of messed up.
Well, on the Mongo McMichael note, we have reached the halfway point of our show. So we are going to not only just go to a commercial, but we're going to hit our colleague in the Wayback Machine over at the Event Center. Sean Mooney, tell us what you got for us. Let me get this full screen. All right. Come on.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sean Mooney, and the dust has not yet settled over the explosion that took place at WrestleMania 5. And there's guaranteed to be an explosion right here Saturday night, May 6th, at the Nashville Auditorium. That is when the World Wrestling Federation returns, and what a night it is going to be. That evening, the Blue Blazer, he will square off against Greg the Hammer Valentine. That match just added. Also, Hillbilly Jim to take on the Honky Tonk Man. It's the Red Rooster battling Bobby Heenan's protege, the Brooklyn Brawler. Also, Tito Santana to face his former tag team partner and friend, Rick Martel. Also, Bret the Hitman Hart to meet Mr. Perfect, and 2 titles on the line. One for the Intercontinental Championship, the new champion, Ravishing Rick Rude, to face the former title holder, the Ultimate Warrior, and for the Tag Team Championship, Demolition to face the Twin Towers, Akeem and the Big Boss Man.
Yo, Demolition, you know, I understand that you got a reputation in the World Wrestling Federation for being the baddest dudes on the block. But remember, fate has dealt you a terrible blow in the person of the Twin Towers. Right on, Slickster. Demolition, you're a good team, brother, but we're that much better, and we will take the titles.
Twin Towers are responsible for hurting a lot of people.
Yeah, right on.
We've handcuffed them all. We've beat them all. You'll be at no exception. Before it's all over, we'll have them belts. We will be the champions, and you'll be nobody.
Twin Towers with a big opportunity here. They have a chance at the Tag Team Championship. Mr. Perfect to face Bret the Hitman Hart.
Hey, Mr. Perfect, there's one man in the WWF that can really relate to you. I can relate to growing up in the cold weather, being stuck in the house, and having your dad, professional wrestler, drag you downstairs and start practicing holds on you. And he practices, until all of a sudden you start to pick it up, and you start to become tough, and you start to grow up with professional wrestling as your dream, as your goal, to become a professional wrestler, to be the very best in professional wrestling. Mr. Perfect, you may think that I'm describing you, but I'm not just describing you. I am describing myself. I've grown up with wrestling all around me. And it's time this little perfect world of yours came crumbling down by the Hitman.
Bret Hart to face Mr. Perfect Saturday night, May 6th at the Nashville Auditorium. And right now it is time for a WWF Wipeout. Stay tuned. It's coming at you.
All right, and there it was. Thank you, Sean Mooney. So if you guys aren't doing anything, May 6th, down at the Nashville Memorial Coliseum.
That's right. Ryan, get your tickets.
That's right. Get that off of here. All right. Yeah, Ryan, go get your tickets. You know, send us some pictures. Get us some merch.
Yo.
Get me some merch. I want an Akeem shirt. And that's it.
You know, I was to the point of the commercial, just real quick before we jump back into the list, man. Like,
Go ahead.
Some of those advertised matches, you wonder, like, man, how come, like, they don't never put those from that span on the, you know how they had the old MSG matches and house shows from like way back, even like LA Sports Arena.
Yeah, that then like Maple Leaf Gardens.
Yeah, Maple Leaf Gardens and Spectrum. How come that, just do they should have did all of the house shows? Because some of those cards, like, man, I would have loved to have seen the Twin Towers against Demolition. They never put that on TV.
Ever.
I never made it to Wrestling Challenge, Superstars, Saturday Night's Main Event, none of that. And we never saw that. And never, like, I guess maybe it didn't work. Maybe that's why we didn't see it.
Maybe. I mean, I remember seeing a few house shows myself at the old Garden, and then over at the Providence Civic Center, which is now the Dunk.
The Dunk.
And I mean, I remember seeing, what was it? The Ultimate Warrior and LOD against all 3 members of Demolition.
Yeah, that was on Saturday Night's.
Yeah, I mean, Saturday Night's Main Event, and then like, what was it? Terry Jean. I mean, even though he was a draw, he had a few good house show matches. There was one against Earthquake, and we all know what happened at SummerSlam. Yeah. But and then I saw a few Warrior Rude matches, which was pretty good on the house show circuit anyway. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I agree with your point, and I am not. I am totally on board with that. We need to start a petition or something. But moving on.
Get your shit together, Peacock.
That's right, Peacock. Come on, and don't edit it at all. And so the next name on our list, we lost him last year. Oh no, not last year. It was probably a few years back. Anyways, I need to get my stats together on that. Was the Big Cat, Ernie Ladd?
Yeah.
he was one of the greatest in San Diego Chargers history, as well as being a Hall of Famer for the E. He was a big standout coming out of Grambling State, signed with the AFL, and he was a huge part of the Chargers' success, leading them to the championship in '63. And he was named All-Pro in the AFL 3 times and was an All-Star 4 times. And he started wrestling as a publicity stunt in the off season. He wasn't taking it seriously, but then he ended up like, you know what? I'm kind of digging this. I think I'm gonna do this full time, and he just cut his football career short.
Yeah,
in favor of wrestling. And
Ernie was probably like all time. You can put him in a top 25 all time heels.
Oh yeah,
the whole King Ernie Lag gimmick, and just it starting as a publicity stunt, and I'm pretty sure he was a heel in that situation, because most celebrities kind of like being a heel in that situation. Yeah, most like being a heel in the situation. But yeah, he was like, in my opinion, man, Ernie Ladd was top 25 heels. I think he should have had a run as champion during his time, but I think Bruno was still on top, or I don't know if it was Putski or Pedro Morales or whoever it might have been, but it was somebody that was who had the title for a pretty decent stretch. But I think he deserved a run. There was no secondary belt for him back then. I'm pretty sure that would have been a really good spot for him. But in ring, and then he transitioned into commentary after he stopped wrestling too for a little bit.
He did, but here's another interesting stat that I know you're going to appreciate, because you're a big man yourself, because he stood at 6'9", 315.
6'9" football players.
Yeah, no, 315, and was one of the biggest men in both wrestling and football. And his measurements, including a 52-inch waist, chest, 39-inch waist, and 20-inch biceps, 19-inch neck, and size 18D shoes. The D stood for damn.
And he probably had like a 7-foot wingspan with 15-inch hands too. He was enormous.
No, he was ginormous. I mean, you'd be dumb not to draft him.
He was a big cat.
He really was the big cat.
He was a big cat, man.
Yeah, I mean, Ernie Ladd was, I'd be remiss if I omitted him from this list. So
yeah, absolutely.
So, and here's another one for the Chicago Bears contingency. Bronco Nagurski. That's an old name. Bronco Nagurski. Any Chicago Bears fan would know this, because he's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, as well as being a world champion in wrestling. He played for the Bears from 1930 to 1937. This is why we know nothing about him. But I sat there and went down this wormhole, because Nagurski needs to be on this list, because he was so versatile on a field that he could play. He played both offense and defense, as well as lineman. He couldn't be a skill player. And
if he played in the 30s, there was no choice.
Here's another one too. He's still the only NFL player to this day to become an All-Pro at 3 positions that didn't include kicking. And he's like one of the toughest football players ever, so he was seen in the same light in the wrestling ring. He was a draw because his celebrity as a football player made him who he was, and he was crowned an NWA world champion in his career. So I mean, Bronco Nagurski, all you Bears fans out there, I'm waiting for the hate mail or whatever you need to do. Just tell me it was a good one. Mark Jolliffe, I'm looking at you, because I know you know who Bronco Nagurski is, and you wouldn't.
I'm willing to bet money Mark has no clue who that dude is.
He might, man, and or at least if you're a Bears fan, you should know who he is. Because I mean, I'm just going off of, and I know you're gonna laugh at me. This episode of The World According to Jim Belushi, and he wanted a plot next to Bronco Nagurski when he died, and his wife got all mad and everything. So I knew who he was. But you ready for another Another shocker name for you. I'm waiting for this. Is the one. This here is the one that you're gonna be like. You're gonna give me that look right there. Maybe even worse. You ready?
It's Hacksaw Jim Duggan, isn't it?
No, it's not. No,
All right,
it
I'm
is
good
not.
now. Okay, good. You're safe now as long as it's not Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Shoot.
No. Alex Karras. Alex Karras. Do you not know who he is? You might recognize him for his acting ability, but he played football and he was a pro wrestler. The Mad Duck is what he went by, his ring name. The Mad Duck, Alex Karras, but you and I both know him as George Papadopoulos. Yeah, Webster's daddy was a pro wrestler, and he held the NWA crown twice.
Listen, for years, I thought George Papadopoulos was Larry Zonka. Let's just get that out the way.
No, you're right. I did too. So you're not the only one.
All right, cool. So I'm glad I'm not alone. It wasn't. When I found out it wasn't Larry Zonka, I was like, all right, well, whatever. The Mad Duck.
The Mad Duck. He played for the Detroit Lions. He was a stellar linebacker for the Lions, and he was known as the Mad Duck from 58 to 1960.
And that was his in-ring name too.
He drew.
I watch a lot of title history videos. Don't ever recall seeing him on any of them.
Yeah, man. That's why I was like, Alex Karras, the Mad Duck. It's like, interesting. I've never heard of this, but okay. I'm gonna put him on there just because he's Webster's daddy.
And I've never seen him and Larry Zonka in the same place at the same time, so the jury might still be out on that one.
Yep. All right. Now I'm gonna get us a good fan favorite here. You ready for this? Merced Solis, also known as Chico Santana.
Ah, yes. Chico did play some football.
Chico Santana did. He attended the Kansas City Chiefs training camp after graduation and played a single season for the British Columbia Lions of the Canadian Football League.
Okay.
So, I mean, he had somewhat of a decent career.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 1970, let me see right here. I got to scroll here because I typed this all out. In 1973, he transitioned to pro wrestling, and we all know the rest. We all know what happens from 1973 to the early 1990s.
I didn't realize he started in 73.
Mm-hmm. He started in 73 as what we would call the indie circuit.
Right. The territories too.
The territorial and everything. So, yeah, Merced Solis, a.k.a. Chico Santana.
Right.
I figured you'd like that one.
Yeah, of course. Anything Tito Santana related, I'm always for it.
Okay. And then I'm gonna reach back for this one. Because the next guy on our list is Laverne Clarence Gagne. We all know him as Vern Gagne, former owner of the AWA. Was included in the All Big Ten team during his college days as a football player as a Gopher. He was also drafted in the 16th round because remember, those rounds lasted forever. Now we only have like 5 or 6 rounds.
7.
Yeah, 7. By the Bears. In 1947, he was drafted by the Bears. So we all know what happened with him. He was the owner of the AWA, which was like the biggest promotion in that territory at the time, or in the Midwest at the time.
Yeah.
From what I understand. So Vern Gagne, he just made the list. Any comment on that one? I mean, that is your territory. So I mean, I figured you at least have something to say.
AWA, we didn't really get much AWA TV, on television in Chicago. We were we pretty much got what was shown. Yeah, we pretty much got what was being shown nationally because there really was no They weren't like coming to town or anything like that. They were on AWA house shows.
Yeah, see, I remember watching.
To my knowledge, they weren't. I don't know. Maybe you might have to ask Mark or Marky because they're a little older than I am.
Yeah, I remember watching AWA,
like ESPN.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like on ESPN and that USWA as well. I remember watching the Von Erichs on there.
Yeah,
on USWA on ESPN, like real late at night. I still remember the Trooper, but whatever. My buddy was like a big Trooper fan. He'd walk around going, "The Trooper."
No, it didn't pan out. That didn't age well at all.
No, it really doesn't. But hey, what are you gonna do? Let's see. Give me 1 second. Oh God, I forgot I put him on this list. It's not Hacksaw Duggan. It's not Hacksaw Duggan.
I get the reaction for this upcoming person, but you didn't react like that for Lex fucking Luger or Goldberg.
No,
Come on,
no, because I already know I'm probably gonna get a worse reaction for this one. We're gonna use his government name, Liti Joseph Anawai. We all know him as
the Big Dog.
The Big Dog. He became a member of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets football team during his early college days. And he was signed by the Vikings and then moved to the Jaguars. And then again, in the same year, he went to Canada to go play for the Edmonton Eskimos in 2008. But he was quite the defensive player at Georgia Tech. That I do remember because I was down there for that time, and I remember who's this Anawai kid?
Wasn't he there with Calvin Johnson?
I believe he was. Yes, he played with Calvin Johnson. Yeah, he played with Calvin Johnson at Georgia Tech. I just remember because there was a bunch of Georgia Tech fans, the big interstate rivalry. And I just remember that Anawai guy is pretty good. I'm like, what? Even I looked at it, I was like, Anawai.
Right.
Damn rednecks. But yes, Reigns makes the list. And then I'm going to. But you know what? I'm actually going to step. I'm going to step outside of the full-time wrestlers just for 1 second, and I'm going to bring in an actual pro football player who made their appearance in a wrestling ring. And you know who it is? He's a Hall of Famer. That's right.
It is Kevin Green?
It is Kevin Green.
I was fully expecting this to be the Lawrence Taylor segment of the show, but if we talk about Kevin Green, then all right, that's cool with me.
No, because per your request, I remember a message saying it better not be Lawrence Taylor, and I said, okay, we will omit him. But Kevin
can't, man.
Kevin, I know we won't. Kevin Darwin Green.
Rest in peace, Kevin Green.
That's right, man. That was a tough loss even for me because I remember watching him play in Pitt. I mean, he played 15 seasons in the football league. He got inducted into the Hall of Fame. I remember he played for the Steelers and the Panthers.
And the Packers.
I just remember him playing for the Panthers because I'm like, what are you even doing here?
They went to the Super Bowl that year.
Yes, no.
That wasn't the year they went to the Super Bowl? That first Super Bowl?
No. No, wait. It might have been because wasn't Kerry Collins their quarterback?
I believe so.
Yeah, drunk Kerry Collins was their yeah. Trust me, I have stories about that. Oh my word. Where he got pulled over for a DWI in Carolina, and that ended his career there. And this girl that I used to work with was like, "Oh my God, he hit on me one time." And I was like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah, he reeked of booze," and I'm like, "Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. It's Kerry Collins." But I just remember Kevin Green playing for the Carolina Panthers that year that they almost made the Super Bowl.
Okay,
that was the year that they got beat by Green Bay.
Okay.
Green Bay went on to beat the local team here in this state pretty soundly. That's how I'm going to refer to them from now on. The local team from this team. The local team. But that's when I remember him playing for the Panthers. Now for the Packers, it was kind of forgettable.
Yeah,
it was, but it wasn't. But he really stood out in Pittsburgh. I remember him because he was their prototype.
Mm-hmm.
The way I saw it, it's like you couldn't say Pittsburgh Steelers defense without mentioning Kevin Green because he was that guy. And then he decided to test his waters by teaming with Goldberg in '98, and then he was forced to quit wrestling when the NFL teams started throwing in a no wrestling clause in the contracts. So,
Right.
you know, but what would have been, and then
still pretty entertaining though. He wasn't bad.
he wasn't bad.
He wasn't bad in the ring.
No, not at all. But
Wasn't Lawrence Taylor either.
And you know what? I'm going to segue into the next full-time football player turned part-time wrestler, and it's not Lawrence Taylor. This one here is the Minister. You know who it is, right? The Minister, Reggie White.
Who did Reggie? He was. When
Okay.
did he ever get into the ring?
All right, we're going to get into that. So Reggie White was a 13-time Pro Bowl participant. You know that. It was named Defensive Player of the Year twice in his career. He appeared ringside in the match of LT and Bam Bam at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
But here's where your question will be answered. He wrestled against Mongo at WCW at Slamboree May 18th, 1997. To ignite that old Bears Packers rivalry. Reggie White was in the ring.
You really should have talked to me about this list before you put it together.
Hey, man. Yeah, I did. Well,
One match.
one match.
One match.
One match against. Hey, we brought up Mongo. We have to bring that up.
Mongo had held a title.
True.
2. He was a TV champ also.
Okay,
And
well then
and whatever was in that Halliburton briefcase, he was held on to that too.
all right, since we got 10 minutes left, we're going to just blow through the rest of this list because this is where I'm going to bring in some quality, okay? I promise you. Because I would not do you like that, my partner in crime. So I'm going to bring up the one guy that has been brought up many times, but I still don't think he gets the respect he deserves. And that is
As a
the
football
one.
player or a wrestler, though.
Both. To me, in my opinion, both. And that would be the one, the only, Ron Simmons. Ron Simmons, Hall of Famer. We know that. He's noted he was the first black champion in WCW. Am I wrong?
No.
Nope. And in ECW, he made an appearance there, but we all know him as Farouk. Farouk. But he was drafted in the 6th round of the 1981 draft and played for the Brownies, but he was a big standout for the Florida State Seminoles. We all know that. But then he also played for the Tampa Bay Bandits between 83 and 85 and the now defunct USFL.
And the only thing I give Lex Luger credit for is talking Ron Simmons into becoming a pro wrestler. Only thing I'm ever going to give Lex Luger credit for.
Noel B wants to know where Ellsworth played college football. I'm going to have to say on EA Sports College Football Madness. I'm pretty sure that he probably, if I were to take a guess, he probably picked USC. Just a guess.
Or West Virginia because he's.
That's right. He's probably a Mountaineer. So thank you, Noel, for that bit of insight because I never would have known. But let's see, we've already gone through that, so I'm gonna have to bring up our next contestant here on Who Wants to Be a Football Player, and I'm gonna say Leon White, aka Big Van Vader.
I think equally accomplished in both fields.
Yes, very equally accomplished. I mean, he obviously we know he was noted for being in All Japan, not New Japan, All Japan. And then as well as the WCW and the E, but he was a Colorado Buffalo. And he was drafted by the Rams in the 3rd round in 1978. But we all know what his accomplishments are in the ring. And as far as football goes, he was quite the defensive lineman.
Yeah.
I mean, just his size alone says it alone, and he's from Colorado, so you know he could run around that ring all day.
Wait, hold on. Let me stop you right there. No, he's not.
He's in college.
No, he's not. Yeah,
college. No,
yes.
not from there.
Okay, I was gonna say Vader, and a lot of people might not know. Shocked the shit out of me when I found this too. Vader's from Compton. Vader is from Compton, California. Yes, Leon White grew up in Compton, California.
I got nothing there. Think he was riding around with Easy and all? No,
Probably not, because he was good and grown by the time Jerry Curl Activator was even a thing. Yeah. But yes, Vader is from Compton.
I'll take that, man. I had no idea. None whatsoever.
Yeah.
Vader.
Yeah, Vader is from Compton, California.
Wow. Okay. It's going to bring me to my next guy right now because we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. And I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this guy up. Brock Edward Lesnar. He had a brief but spectacular season at the NFL Combine. And he made the practice squad for the Vikings. And then, you know, later on down the road, after he was wrestling for a little while and he left, as we all know, he got an invitation to play as a representative in NFL Europa.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, he got an invitation to play for the Vikings as a representative for them, and you know, he didn't do it.
Team over there, the Rain Fire, the Frankfurt Galaxy.
I am not sure. All it says is that it was a representative in the NFL Europa, but I will do a little bit more digging on that one, and I'll have an answer next week.
I used to watch that a lot, though. I used to love NFL Europe.
I remember World League football back in the day.
Yeah.
Because they had that on they were promoting the hell out of that for primetime wrestling. It's like, yep, World League football. I'm like, okay. What we got here? Yep, the Frankfurt Rage and all that fun stuff. I think they threw a couple of them before the Up All Night show. Not the Gilbert Gottfried day. It was the Ronda Shearer.
Yeah, Ronda Shearer. I was just watching WrestleMania 10, and she was on WrestleMania 10.
Oh, yeah. Didn't she, walk Michaels out?
Yeah. No, she walked out with Burt Reynolds.
Oh, yeah, that's right. No, it was Pamela Anderson who went with Michaels. Then
That was 11 or 12. 11.
Yeah. Right. But, all right. So I have to do this one just because we brought him up all show, and I feel the need that we had to because Brock was really at the end of my list. And we omitted Hacksaw because we omitted Hacksaw. So I have to bring him up. Lawrence Taylor.
You forgetting somebody, and you're going to be mad when I tell you who. I'm not even about to talk about LT. Hell with LT.
Okay, you know what? Yeah. All right, the hell with LT. Bring it up. Go ahead.
How you miss John Cena?
That's right.
How you miss John Cena?
Because he's a local.
Because you couldn't see him?
Because I couldn't see him. Number 54, man. He took Teddy B's number. Damn it.
Yes, John Cena from Springfield College, just like 10 minutes from where I'm sitting right now.
Okay. You got me. You got me.
Yeah, come on now.
You got me.
If we threw Roman in there based off of what he did in college, then if we threw Goldberg in there and Luger,
you have to throw in Cena.
You got to throw Cena in there. If it's football player, he was a football player.
He was.
You know, we can't not name and Crystal would probably throw something at me because her grandmother lives across the street from Springfield College. So how can I not say John Cena? And John Cena was like right across the street from where I had some of the best food I've eaten in the state of Massachusetts. Just saying.
Okay.
But John Cena.
Okay, John Cena. I guess this means me and you have to go and make that pilgrimage to West Newbury, right?
Nope. I don't think people who look like me are too much welcome out in the west side of Newbury, Massachusetts. So I'm going to just kind of.
You'd be surprised, man. There's a lot of. I think people who look. I mean, all I'm saying is that they're.
I'm good. I'm all. As y'all say out here, I'm all set on Eastern Mass.
You're all set on Eastern Mass.
I'm good. I'm all set on Eastern Mass.
Okay. That's fair enough. You know, I mean, I'll go see the statue by myself. I don't care.
Wait, there's a statue? Is it a
Yeah,
statue?
there was a
Okay,
big like to do about putting a statue of him up there in West Newbury because he is their favorite son. He would not let the WWE say that he was from Boston. He said he wanted to represent where he is from because he is from West Newbury and his dad still lives there to this day.
Big John, not Big
Yes.
Match John, but Big John.
John Cena Sr. and I remember seeing his promotion on television after SmackDown, like late Friday nights, probably about like 10, 12 years ago.
I didn't know his dad had a promotion.
His dad had a promotion after his son made it big. Then he'd wear like spray painted jackets just like Jimmy Hart. But I mean,
Wait, the real Jimmy Hart or
the
Jimmy
real,
Hart?
no, the
Okay.
real, the Jimmy Hart.
Not the Jimmy Hart from the brand split that we had a couple years ago.
Yes, not the Jimmy Hart who met his grave end. Not him. The actual Jimmy Hart with the
Okay.
megaphone and everything.
All right,
He had
just
spray
checking.
painted airbrush jackets with like whatever the hell on it, and he wasn't afraid to take a bump. So shout out to Cena Sr. for doing all that.
And shout out to Cena Jr. for the startup money because we all know how that happened.
Yes, exactly. So that's going to segue us into here because it's shout out time. It's the end of the show. We had a good run on this one, man. I gotta say, I mean, there was a lot of names. There was a lot of names, and yeah, I probably should have consulted with you first, but you know what? It makes for good TV. So
It does. It does.
it really does. So I'm gonna go ahead and start my shout out right now. I'm gonna go single screen. So I'm gonna do my shout out to your son, Mr. Andre. Mr. Andre, who celebrated his first year on God's green earth. The pictures were great. Anybody who's friends with Will should have seen them already. And if you haven't, I'm sorry. But he had a great day. And, from me and Shyla, we wish him the very best. I'm glad he had a good birthday. I'm glad he got sugar high and he was all set today. So shout out to the other Andre the Giant Richmond. You get a lot of love from this household right here.
Thank you, Uncle Dan.
You're welcome. And I heard you can say hi and bye.
Yes, he can. Among the other few words we're trying to work on right now. But
Hey, that's all right. If he ever wants to intro the show, he is more than welcome.
yeah, we'll make that happen.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
We'll make that happen.
Anything for my nephew.
We got to figure out who his faves are right now, though.
Right.
Yeah,
There
it'll be
ain't no
really fun.
Cha-Cha Banks. So
No,
no,
not yet.
no, not
I'm
yet.
a Braun
No.
fan or somebody.
Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you right now. He might be a Braun fan, but I mean, I know who his father is, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be rocking some Andre the Giant stuff in due time.
Listen,
If he ain't already.
Yeah, my sister sent him a custom onesie. He probably won't be able to wear it till he's like 4, but
Well, whatever.
he does have some new Andre the Giant apparel. I got to find him some new stuff. Though.
Yeah, we definitely got to. We'll make that. I'll see what I can do on my end too. So, but you got anything? You also before I let you go, we gotta thank the sponsor.
Yes,
Infinite Banter, Mark Jolliffe. Send him his shirt, please.
check him out. I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna get off him about the shirt. I don't want him to purposely send me the wrong size.
Hey, I'm not.
nothing
He's gonna know every show. Mark, send this man a shirt. Triple XL, double XL. I don't care.
Listen,
Triple
hey.
X. I don't care. Just send him a shirt, please.
He said
you
he
would.
doesn't have his already, so I'm gonna let him get his before I return to his case about some shirts.
Okay, fair
But,
enough. But you still got to send you a shirt. But go ahead.
Yes.
Your turn.
No, just real quick. Like Dan said, just to echo Dan, shout out to my little guy turning 1 yesterday. Again, happy birthday, Andre. It's really, just hard to believe that he's been here for a year already. It just seems like, a few months ago that I was snoring in the delivery room, about to get yelled at or swung on or something. But he's been a true bright spot. I'm trying to turn him into just as big a wrestling fan as his dad is, because with 2 sisters and his mom here, I gotta have somebody to agree with me when we don't want to look at Roman on TV.
Oh, trust me. In due time, he's going to be like, get this guy off my TV.
Right.
And then, you got to bring him to a show. But go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out WWE Shop for fucking up my order. I'm still waiting on my belt.
Come on now.
Still waiting on I got my shirts before I got my belt.
Just make sure it doesn't come in a trash bag.
Want my fucking shit. Anyway. Shout out to all of the people in the group who are doing their thing outside of here, Mike and Tim and Dan. Not Dan, Mark.
Yes, Dan.
Dan, you too, I guess, because you're doing some things outside of here too with the bar trivia.
Listen,
anybody that Dan is reeled into the show, please go see him on Wednesdays.
On Wednesdays. I'm gonna be getting like a permanent schedule now. So if you guys ever make it out, any of you people out there in the video scope, make it out to the south coast of Massachusetts over here on the eastern coast. Sorry, you guys can come out and see me, man. I'm gonna make sure it's gonna be fun. So it was fun last night, and I hope the fun continues. But I appreciate you for that. But yes, everybody else, you guys are doing your thing, and that's all we want is for you guys, excel at what you do. That's all I got to say about that. So, I have a few show ideas kicking around for next week, so be on the lookout. Be on the lookout, because I think I have a good one that we can dissect, and hopefully we can get the boss man reeled into this one, because I am sure he has a few to add to my list of things, because you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, because what I'm thinking about is wrestlers in movies, because there's a lot that could be overlooked. Sometimes they're like, oh, it's that guy, but then us as fans, we know who it is,
right? So we're thinking just like cameos, or because stand-ins don't have lines.
No, stand-ins don't have lines. You're right, they don't.
Stand-ins do not have lines. So are we doing stand-ins or parts or roles?
We're doing parts and roles.
All right.
Parts and roles, like The Rock says, know your role, jabroni.
So you got to have a credit.
Oh yes, you have to. You have to have a credit to qualify. And trust me, there's one guy in particular that I think we could probably do a whole show on him. But you know what? I'm gonna save it. I'm saving it. It's gonna be it's right here. It's in my pocket for next week.
Tama Tonga didn't do that. Really didn't do that many movies though, Dan. You can't really save that one. If that's what you want to do, go right ahead.
Don't you worry about it, because I think you're going to agree with me when we talk about it off air. Cool. But again, thank you guys for joining us. We will do it again next week. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your wrestling.
Like, subscribe.
Got to put that one up there.
I only pointed down once today. Like, subscribe.
Share, and subscribe. And tell your friends, tell everybody, because we're going to have some fun next week for Wrestlers in Movies Credited. For Will, I'm Dan. This is the filler segment. We'll see you next week. Dig it.